I believe that everybody is deserving of love. They're deserving of good friendships. They're deserving of, just good things happening to them. Sometimes it's just not from you. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be sharing with you some things I begin to do to change my life. So these are just some things that I begin to do, and I say begin because I don't do this consistently sometimes. Yeah, so sometimes I might slack off. The first thing that I did was intentionally, or I guess the first thing I realized was everything comes back to me. And when I say that, that just means like if continued disrespect, continued disappointment, failed this, failed that, unhappiness, it always goes back to you. So I stopped blaming people or making everything come back to the other person, because at the end of the day, I'm allowing this, and I'm allowing this for a reason. And with your spare time, you would figure out what that reason is. So the second thing that's on my list, and this is something that I kind of started to tap into heavily when I went through my first breakup in 2019, and it just honestly just grew more and more. I just began to grow a spiritual life and do spiritual practices, and that includes prayer, meditation, watching sermons, what else, journaling is a part of a spiritual practice in my opinion, and I journal heavily. So yeah, I just really begin to really grow my spiritual life, and I started to see changes in my life from that. The third thing that I did intentionally, I stopped touching my phone in the morning, like the first thing in the morning. So I would have to either pray, journal, meditate, do something that is for my spiritual, soulful self, and then I would reply or go on Instagram or whatever it may have been that I'm thinking of doing. So I would not touch my phone first thing in the morning. And what I also did was I would have my phone across the room, because it's easy to I'm just gonna go ahead and slide in because the phone is sitting right next to your bed. That was one of the reasons why I was able to start waking up earlier too, is because I would put my phone across the room, and when the alarm goes on, I'll have to literally get up and snooze it or whatever. And I just became that disciplined where I don't just pick up my phone and bring it by me. I don't do that anymore. I would literally keep getting up out the bed and snoozing it until I'm up before I just bring my phone next to me. Just think about it. The first thing you do when you wake up in the morning is intake someone else's life. Like, it's your life. Why would I do that to myself? You know what I mean? So I don't do that anymore, obviously. The next thing was a huge thing for me. I stopped allowing people into my life out of desperation or jumping back into old things because I'm lonely or bored. This was a big one because I think I got that cool with certain people, or I found myself back in old situations, or talking to people because one of the things that I always desired was just having friends, because I didn't have a lot of them in high school. And so, and I didn't, now looking back, I think I just really struggle with being by myself. And so I would find myself in situations with people that I didn't think fit, not necessarily fit me, but treated me the way that I want to be treated, whether there was a friendship or whatever the case may be. It was that I was just so desperate. I was so desperate for friendships that I would have anybody around me. People that I really now did not treat me the way that I know I should have been treated. It's all a learning lesson. And sometimes too, I think one of the things I began to do too was I just stopped letting the boredom and the loneliness lead me back into old situations, or pick back up old habits or old things that died a while ago. I just began to weed out everybody that was disturbing my spirit. And one of the things that I did was I prayed about it. And I just think when it comes to the spiritual life, when you are praying for something, you have to be ready for when it comes. Also too, I just think I care about myself that much. I know what type of heart I have. And I know that within this lifetime, I'm going to meet people that just aren't deserving of that from me. They're deserving of that. I believe that everybody is deserving of love. They're deserving of good friendships. They're deserving of, just good things happening to them. Sometimes it's just not from you. So the next thing that I intentionally began to do was I just started treating myself with care. It's easier said than done. One of the ways that I began to treat myself with care was I limited negative self-talk. Let me tell you, negative self-talk legit can have you in a rut for weeks, months. And so I said limited because I'll be lying if I just say like, oh, I don't talk to myself negative at all anymore. And that's just how I began to change my life. No, that's a lie. Because I very much do that sometimes. And that's just me being completely honest with you all. I kind of self-parent myself. So sometimes when I find myself in a mental breakdown, I legit talk to myself as a parent. Like, I'm in the middle of crying or a mental breakdown. I'm just like, your feelings are valid. It's okay. Like, it's okay. And, I understand how you feel right now. I'll just kind of like affirm while also just kind of like just giving myself that tender. Of course, I'm also big on self-care, and self-care literally could be anything. It could be journaling, it could be meditation, it could be a face mask, it could be going for a walk, bike ride, whatever. I do it all, to be honest. So with that self-care that I do, when I'm doing it, I do it with the intentions of love and care. If I'm doing a face mask, I literally do it like and have in my mind like I'm doing this out of love for myself. Also treating myself with care. I really try to be patient with myself. Try to like move so fast where I end up sabotaging myself, and that's like in all aspects of my life. The only thing that I never really moved fast with is relationships. The next thing that literally started beginning to change my life is I stopped waiting for someone to come and save me. I stopped waiting for someone to see that I was struggling. I found myself kind of like upset and mad at people. If you say that you love me, you say that you care about me, how come you couldn't see that I was at my lowest? How come you couldn't see that I was looking for someone to just hug me or to say it's gonna be okay, or to just check in on me? And I didn't want to say those things because it kind of felt like I was desperate, and in a sense I was in a way, but I stopped putting the blame on people and started to understand that people have life too. People go through their own things as well too. And so I stopped waiting on someone to see me. I stopped waiting on someone to help me. I began to help myself, which goes back to my first one. Everything begins with you. And the very last thing that I did to begin to change my life is I just accepted what God says I am as truth, which means there is no other alternative, which means no matter what anyone says about me in a negative way, that doesn't have anything to do with me. Literally what God says I am, that is what truth is. And once I began to do that, it changed my life. I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. That is truth. I just started doing that, and I started to see a change in my life. I started to see my expectations in people change. I started to see when I'm in a situation where something may hurt my feelings, I'm able to kind of catapult it and, pivot into a new direction, just simply accepting this, because I know who I am. I know what God says I am, and I accepted that as truth. And no matter what anyone has to say, it literally has nothing to do with me at all. Okay guys, so that's the end of this video. Those are just a few things that I begin to do to change my life. If you guys want a part 2, I can do a part 2. Just let me know. I'm hoping that some of these things that I begin to do, you guys can do, or if you have anything that I can start doing that you started and you seen a huge difference in your life, drop some down below. Don't forget to follow me on my Instagram page. It'll be on the screen and it will be down below. Also follow me on my business page. It'll be on the screen. It'll be down below. Sign up for our text messages. Everything will be down below. Link in the bio. Everything is down below. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in my next video.